Good morning and welcome to GM's Tips. This is GM Rick. Sorry I took a little bit of delay. I was having to turn down the volume over there a little bit. Today's GM Tips I'm going to do on an interesting subject. And again, it's not meant to incite people, but it's meant to get people to think a little bit. Because I did a recent survey in two groups on Facebook. One in the D&D 5e group, and one in the Pathfinder RPG group. And I did it on the ratio of women gamers to men. And the reason I do that is not to incite a man versus woman battle, or a gender versus gender battle, or a gender identity battle. I am just so freaking proud at how much RPG has become so welcoming to so many and so broad a paintbrush of people that it just amazes me. When we started out with D&D back in the early 70s and 80s, okay, and I mean when it became into its serious stage, not when it was just in the concept of Gygax and smaller groups running it, like Chainmail and that, but when it really started going, most of your gamers, a good, 9 out of 10 were men. And many people weren't open about orientation because at that time it still was not the acceptable thing to be what you were. And again, you understand where I'm coming from. I'm coming from a straight religious male, okay? And I've got nothing against it. In fact, if anything, I am just 100% open arms to everybody of every sexuality, every background, with the exception of pedophilia. That's one you'll never get me convinced on. But other than that, I am 100% proud of the community for how much we have grown and evolved. Now, we did a survey, and I did the survey to prove a graphic that a person put up in Twitter. And he said, in my group, here's my demographic. 40% of the people who are on my group that I've formed are women gamers. The other are men. Okay, and so I put that up there just to say, hey, this is a great thing. And what do my number-crunching compatriots say? Prove it. Prove the number. My empiricals. And God love you. I do love you, empirical gamers. I really do. But sometimes you frickin' miss the forest for the trees. And you miss the forest on this one. Instead of saying, holy crap, we've come that far, you are more bent out of shape of making my numbers crunch. And the wonderful thing is you sat there and you attacked me in the room. And you'll say, no, I just wanted to prove you're a well-intentioned liar, as Luca said. And yes, Luca, I will call you out on this GM tip. You're going to open your mouth. You're going to get called out. You're more concerned of the 20% reality that came from the polling. Now, mind you, my 30% was calculated 2 days ago when the numbers were different. But that's okay. Numbers shift. As people vote, as they come in, the numbers will shift. But let's be honest. We're not taking a 100% poll of 100% gamers. That's the problem. I think if we sat down and did a 100% poll, 100% gamers, we would probably come between 20 and 30% women gamers. What does that say? That says a huge improvement from where we started. And instead of seeing the improvement, instead of getting excited that women want to game, we're more concerned with being right about the numbers. Guys, empirical numbers make sense. And again, you want them for studies that are serious case studies. We're not doing a serious case study here. We're just making a comment that women gamers, the ratio has grown astronomically. For a man to have a group, and sorry, it's probably being a dad and doing these things. But instead of being excited about the change in demographics, we are more excited about the numbers. And I know some of you say, well, what's the difference anyway? Let's just shut up and game. For me, it's a big difference. You have to understand, I'm a 47 going on 48-year-old GM. Back in my day when I was as young as some of you are who are starting to game, this demographic wasn't even reality. Okay? It wasn't anything even in the realm of possibility. There was no vision that there would be more women gamers. In fact, it was seen as a geek boys club, like a lot of you comment to. And that's why it's always been that way. We've had that pride because we were made fun of for playing it. So that's why we're so prideful sometimes when it comes to that and so exclusive. And yes, I get you guys because I was in your shoes. I was a jock who liked to play, and believe me, I was made fun of for it. But that said, we are becoming more mainstream. We're becoming more acceptable. We're helping people. We're helping people with grades. We're helping change a demographic to a better place. And yes, there is still prejudice in our game, sadly. And yes, there is still hatred in it. But as an overall place for people to come and feel welcome, it is the place. Gaming is a place where you can become any hero you want. You can role play out anything you want. You can reason through things. You can use your intellectual skills. You can use your creative skills. You can use your role play skills. It helps you with your communication with other people. It is one of the best benefits around. And I'm telling you, as a sales guy, as an engineering sales guy in the world, I don't see any other sources outside of maybe a Toastmasters and a couple other places that are that wonderful. And what I want you guys to get is embrace the changes where we've come from. We have made huge inroads in the fact that there are this many women gamers, and the fact that we have systems, not just like D&D, but like, God forbid, sorry you 5e-ers, and you'll get mad at me for this, Pathfinder, who is so LGBT friendly, and by gosh it is. Pathfinder is one of the most LGBT friendly systems of the what I call ancient role-playing games, or the magic-based ones. Now, there are other ones coming out, like Cypher System and Monty Cook's games. He is very open-minded when it comes to that. Thank God there is so much progress to where you can have a place to feel welcome in whoever you are. Within reason, within legal reason, okay? And that's a huge deal, because in our society where things are not so accepted around the world, where many people are still denigrated for who they are, that is a huge thing to say, that in role-playing game, we are friendly. We welcome you no matter who you are. Come join our community and our group. We love to have new people. And guys, that's a great thing. So I guess in saying this is why I get a little incensed when we get so lost in the trees of numbers. Yes, okay, maybe the poll will play out that only 20% come up. Maybe it disproves this other guy's thing in our room. That doesn't mean that he is wrong in his numbers. He doesn't want to reveal his numbers because he, as like most people who own their own group, they want to provide a level of security and anonymity, and I appreciate him for that. But I still appreciate his share. It's a wonderful thing to see that among his group. Whether it's 300 people or 100, if 40% are women, that's a huge deal, guys. In any group. That says a lot for RPG and where we've come. So don't forget that. And please, 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 DMs and GMs, despite your religiousness, despite your tastes and convictions, please do not use RPG as a way to prejudice against people. I know some of you don't like hearing this and you're going, okay, he's getting on a pundit. No, it happens way too often. And I've seen it. And it's excused by, well, I just don't feel comfortable doing that. Well, I don't feel comfortable with that. I don't feel comfortable with that in my group. It goes against my religion. It goes against my faith. I will go to hell for it. Okay, as a Christian, you'll go faster to hell for your prejudiced views than you would for being welcoming and loving. And I'm just calling you on the carpet where you are, those of you that are religious. Wake up and shake up, because we are a problem in our own religion. We are the ones that are going to cause the death of our own religion. And I'm just saying that. I truly believe anything that spouts hatred, exclusion, exclusiveness instead of inclusiveness is not a good thing. I don't see it long-term being a good thing. And you can take offline and come after me on the comments. I normally don't get on this soapbox at all. And for those of you who roll your eyes, I'm sorry, but I have to once in a while soapbox because I see it and it makes me shake my head as a GM. I want GMs and players to feel welcome in the system. I want them to grow it and continue to make it the great thing it is. I want groups to open up and allow people in. Now, again, for those of you of LGBT background and of alternative sexuality, all I ask is one thing. Please respect at least the home environment, especially if it's a home environment of the person that you're in. If they don't like certain curse words or sexuality in a game because their kids can hear it, just have that common courtesy. I mean, it's a common courtesy thing. Just like if I was in your home, I would play courtesy to whatever you felt comfortable with, within reason. Do the same for the GMs, because I think sometimes in our desire to, as human beings, to press our point, we sometimes forget the viewing audience and sometimes forget that those little ears and little eyes learn things, and sometimes that can be good and sometimes it can be very damaging. So I'm not saying that sexuality is damaging, but there's a time and a place to discuss it with our children. There's a time and a place to go over it with them. And I think we have to respect whoever's home we're in. It's just a common courtesy of going into one's home and using homes. Now, out in a gaming place, hey, things may be a little bit different. But I think still, etiquette is always a good rule to have towards everybody. Just having a real etiquette and a real sense of courtesy towards people. So that's it. I guess my point is, yay, women gamers. Continue to rise up and grow. I am so proud to see so many of you in the system. We love you. I mean, I'm saying it from my point of view and from many of my gamers. We love you because we want you to enjoy the gaming experience too and have a wonderful experience and tout it and game for many years to come and teach your children and their children's children to where gaming continues to evolve and be a wonderful thing for many generations to come. For those of you in the LGBT community, thank you for joining the system, and I hope you feel welcome. We don't ever want you to feel like this is another place of hate. It's not. It really isn't. We love having you, and we could care. I mean, I'm saying this from a GM's point of view of where I am and what I explained earlier. I could care less your sexuality. I really could. If you're happy in who you are, that's all that matters to me. If you feel love, that's all that matters to me. You should. And to those of you who have deep religious convictions, I'm not excluding you either. Look, I respect you. I come from deep religious convictions, all right? But at the same time, I just ask you to have a little bit of tolerance towards who games with you. Don't exclude people because they don't meet your sensibilities, okay? I play with players sometimes that agitate me that are rule lawyers, and sometimes there are the other type of players that drive me nutty in a fruitcake, but I've learned to adapt and work with them. And it's made me grow as a GM because I've got some players in my group that I love to death. Sometimes they drive me a little crazy in game, but I've learned to adapt to that and not let them drive me crazy and to be more open-minded as a GM. That way I can help them to have a tremendous experience whether I agree with their sensibilities or not. That's it. Hope you guys have a great week. I'm going to do some other product reviews for the Pathfinder side of things, but I really wanted to take this moment and add this since I did this poll. This is my follow-up on the poll, and that's the way you'll look it up. The follow-up on the poll of women percentages to men. And I hope you guys continue to watch this and grow from it. I really appreciate those that do, and I hope I help some of you to become better GMs, DMs, and to really do a great job with your groups. Have a great week.